So here I'm out here with Titan. He's actually on the street, on the sidewalk. See, and all I'm doing here is working on communication with him, with the walk, again, moving forward. And here when you do the walk here with the dog, you're starting to get your walk going so the dog is a follower. It's really important to not focus on distance, but rather where the mind is going. So here, it's all about how the dog invests, especially once they've gained power. They're going to seek fulfillment. They're looking to go on their own. Now there's a squirrel right over here, and he sees the squirrel a little bit. But again, just noticing the level of fixation here, and need to tap him out so his head turns around in towards me a little bit to get him to break that contact. And I see him picking up steam a little bit, put him into a sit. His tail's wagging here. So you have a little outburst there. Now when that happens, you want to turn around here. I'm going to turn around, face the opposite direction. Communicate with him, tap, tap, tap. Put him back into a sit again. And here you can see how he's jumping around. This is one of those moments you have to just focus on communication to break that connection. Now see how he wants to turn. I'm not allowing him to turn around. This is where I say sometimes you need to get the dog back into, you have to put yourself back into the picture by turning around. Now, what I've seen of that is a squirrel that got his mind going here a little bit. But here I'm communicating, and how I'm doing this is saying, I own that squirrel. You know, you might get to meet the squirrel, but it's got to be as a follower. So back here and going the other way here again. Tap, tap, tap. So he keeps going into the sit. Sit, right in, sit, tap, 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 into the sit again. Now he's pit bull. Now see, he's wanting to turn around there. He's got a lot of pit in him, so again, his need levels are going to be higher, so he'll want to invest. But this is all about right relationships, so this is really important that you establish this level of communication with the dog so that you're not going to have issues. So here, because this is the thing about identifying a look just being a look, or whether or not it represents something different, which is, it's about context here. And how you can tell that, again, is how a dog responds to this script within the framework of what's reasonable influence. Okay, these little taps, they're not meant to be a correction per se, they're meant to interrupt how he's connecting. Okay, and right here, see a little tap tap. See, I keep tapping here until I'm going to break. See, I break that connection. Now, just using straight collars, so this isn't meant to hurt him at all. These are like little nudges here. Okay, same thing. Move forward. Stop him. You have to keep him beside. You know, you want to keep the dog beside you. Tap tap tap. If he starts moving around that way, right away. So you want to be very proactive here. You need to be in tune to the mind of the dog, not to let it separate. Right away, you need to be nudging and building the script. So same thing. Give you a little view of my neighborhood here. It's a great place for doing this type of exercise because there's all sorts of things moving and going. And same thing. Tap, tap, tap. Sit. Back into the sit. Move around. Thing. Now we're going towards where the Mr. Squirrel was here a few minutes ago. And this is the thing about this too. It's all about overcoming. So when you're deal with a situation that you're starting to gain influence over, you're starting to layer up that level of communication to bring the dog's state of mind into the script dealing with, say, a squirrel, another animal. See right here, see Cisco spikes up so high, so fast. See that? And then all you do is just about leash control and building that script. So that's why you get, you know, even from a young age, I mean, especially with pits and some breeds, they'll do what I call like a flash over. They won't give you much warning. This is why it's so important to build this script very intentional about how you communicate, and you need to treat everything as a little exercise, because you have to, you opening that door, the dog's mind just a little bit, and then you're closing it again by way of the follower moment. So its influence is breaking that line of how the dog is connecting. That needs to happen because it's about communication. It's establishing, because dogs know what you're doing. They actually, it makes sense to them. Same thing, moving forward towards what he saw before, and likely the squirrel's gone here. Don't get me wrong, Titan's a great dog, but it's about doing the big picture here, doing what's reasonable. You need to establish. Same thing, moving forward. Same thing. So he wants to bolt ahead at times. You have to communicate, get him back. The way to do that is just keep setting up the sit position. You have to get him to. You have to halt his mind. You have to get him to. It's like impulse control, okay? But it's not just impulse control. It's relational. So when a dog is surging forward like that, and you're fading out of the picture, it's a relational problem. Okay, they're blowing you off. So you have to. Same thing, just establish that. See how quickly he wants to dash forward here. Again, see, he's trying to do that again. Tap, 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 sit. So just patiently right here, just, hey, sit. Keep communicating it. Move forward just slightly. Now here, a little trick is to keep the communication going as you move forward, okay? So, because just right here, so tap as soon as you move forward. Start tapping. Here he's whining here because, again, this is putting pressure on his mind here a little bit. So by me tapping is actually giving him comfort, giving him release from that, okay? Because what I'm saying is I own it. You have nothing to worry about. Same thing, forward, sit, forward, sit, forward, sit. Yeah. Hey. So even right here, you want to tap a little bit. If you feel the level of tension's going up and his mind starting to go here, I'll just keep tapping until I get a little bit more relaxation from him. Forward. There we go. And now I'm going to, again, turn the other way and head back to the house. Sit. Forward. But here too, when you're communicating, you want to line this up so the dog is within what's defined as the heel position. So you want really clear lines here too. This is the thing about how this line of communication happens. Here it's back around. Now, the reason he did that, he's going a little bit more here. You see him spinning and everything, because this is very challenging for him to make him halt when before he's used to getting what he wanted. Okay. So you're gonna see here there's a nice big spike in. Now when that happens, I'm not panicked. I'm letting it kind of displace here. Tap tap. So all you do when you get that type of surging happens, okay? Because why that's happening, the dog will get pissed off, okay? Because what's happening is you're taking away, you're removing, you're severing those connections, and suddenly it'll spike because they get desperate, okay? They know what you're doing, and there'll be a sudden spiking. Doesn't mean the dog's gonna bite you. It just means that they're having like a teenager kicking a hole in the door. They're having a little temper fit, okay? But when that happens, you get a sudden spike like that, just let the leash, keep it under control, keep that kinetically, keep it within your little staging area beside you, and then the mind, when it goes down, then you finish off with a little push and a push pull. Here I'm one-handing this, so my technique isn't going to be as defined because I'm giving people a little insight into what's happening here. So same thing, forward, little tap tap, forward. So consistency of the script, even going back to the house, you want that. Same thing, back, because again, you go back to the house, he may be, again, dogs will start thinking about, if they have power, everything's about power, they'll be thinking, oh, I'm back to the house and I get to go after, connect with the other dog, or with the crate could be their area that they go into to gain power, to keep power. So you have to, this is why the script has to be consistent throughout. So same thing, bring them forward. Anyway, that's a glimpse into Titan. This is my little morning walk with him. Starting to go onto the street and just keeping the line of communication going with him, starting to get him to walk as a follower on the leash. So really important that you see the spiking, you'll see how the mind will react to, again, defining what's reasonable. This is about reasonable influence, okay? But the reaction will look unreasonable based on his reaction to what's reasonable, but you have to be able to put it in context, okay? It's about communication. He's responding or he's spiking up and not liking it based on what has been established through the relationship with the owner. So I'm taking that all away. I'm redefining everything, okay? So this is about not saying the level of communication, saying, well, you just can't ever meet the squirrel, okay? How I'm doing this communication is such that it's expressing, saying, no, you might get to meet the squirrel or whatever it is, but it's going to be as a follower to me, okay? That's why, based on what's established, if I'm starting to redefine that, how his mind, the path it's taken, then he's going to react. And then all of a sudden, you get a really high reaction after this goes on for a period of time because, yeah, he's going to get really upset for a moment, just like a teenager kicking a hole in the wall. But again, just, always calm, just redirect that, put that in context and just redirect it, keep within the staging area, and then focus on what you need to do rather than what he's doing at the time. You just have to let the leash redirect that back into the sit, tap, 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 and then, finish off. But there's only so much. You do these little exercises. You don't want to overextend them. So, you're doing it for a few minutes because, again, this is hitting the street with Titan. This is a brand new thing for him. I established that within more calmer areas, and now we're starting to go into more distracting areas where it's more challenging. But again, just take your time. You want to focus on the mind, not the distance, okay? Because if you focus on distance, it's going to take you a lot longer to get the script going. So better to just break it down, do it really intentionally, very methodically, and you'll be a lot farther ahead. Okay, so you need to establish those lines of communication. It has to be very clear communication. So anyway, he's doing really good, and he's a great dog. Titan's fantastic because he's got pit bull in him. I mean, he's very young, but this just shows you how quickly dogs will gain power in the relationship if you're not sharp. You have to, his need levels are higher, so you have to be sharper. It doesn't mean, when I say sharp, it doesn't mean aggressive or mean to a dog. You have to be more of a leader. It's got to be, the script has to be really intentional. You saw how I'm working the leash. It's got to be really defined that way, and then everything will be good to go. The advantage we have here is he's young, so even though he's gained power quite a bit for his young age, I can work with him and get him on track better. Because if he's, just imagine that's why you get problems when dogs get really big and their muscle structures get really defined, and they start expressing a high level of power, it can get very dangerous, okay? This is why, when that happens, I change my strategy around, so I'm working with the owners more because, the dog is really going to lash out. It could be a problem. You can see why people get bitten. But here, he's expressing the levels of challenge, even spiking up, but because he's a puppy, I can control that, and it's not an issue. So anyway, thanks for watching. A little update on the walk. Have a great day.